Meet Robin Panicker, founder and CEO of SEQATO Software Solutions. With 20 plus years of experience, he helps healthcare, fintech, and telecom leaders build AI-powered, enterprise-grade solutions. Welcome to Techzila, sharing his journey and digital insights.
And coming back to Cubase, where you finalized your development career, technology
Right.
career to founder. So what made you to start your own business?
So when I was working with Cuburst, I got an opportunity to understand all the phases of of selling a software. So it's not just the life cycle of the software development, but also after that and even before that. So how do you get a project from customers? So all these things were a mystery for me in Infosys and Cognizant. So because you had a separate team, they would get the project, win the project, and hand it over to you. You just need to execute that. But in Cuburst, I learned how to approach a customer, how to understand their requirement, how to convert a lead or an opportunity into a project. So all those things I learned from Cuburst. And I always had in my back of my mind that I wanted to give something back to the society. So I thought if I start a company, then I can get the opportunity to give something back to the society. So that is where that decision to become an entrepreneur came into my mind.
Okay. So initially, what was your team size?
So we started with 4 people, 4 developers.
Okay. Then how do you manage the sales that time? You are doing the sales or you have someone outside?
So we manage the sale ourselves only by word of mouth and by references and all. So I contacted my friends because I was in US for a couple of years. So I had a couple of people over there who I could rely on. So I told them that I started a company and if there is any project you need to be done, you can contact me. So that word of mouth spread and then we started getting projects. Initially it was a little bit tough, but then we were able to sustain. And slowly we started getting bigger projects and then we grew the team and it was like a cycle then.
Okay. Then the new set of problems coming your way. Because since you started receiving projects, you need to scale.
Correct. That was again another challenge that I learned over the past experience. So it's like a chicken and egg problem. So if you have projects, you need people. If you have people, then you need projects.
Yes.
So which one comes first? Because hiring has a life cycle. So it's like you can't hire anybody overnight. So it takes maybe 1 to 3 months to get a good resource. At the same time, even getting a project is also tricky. You can't get a project overnight. So there's a sales process behind that.
Yeah.
So maybe it might go on for months to you get a project. So that managing that strategy between projects and hiring was a little bit challenging. But what we did was we always made sure that we had enough resources, because tomorrow if a project comes, we should not say that we don't have the people to do that.
Right.
So that is how we targeted.
And hiring these talents, and you need to maintain also. Okay. So what was the challenge you faced? Because I don't know, it's a new organization.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no brand value
Correct.
at that time, and you need best people.
Yeah.
This combination will not work.
Correct. Yeah. So initially I started the company outside Technopark in a place called Chandavala, which is nearer to my home. So there we faced this challenge, the exact challenge what you said. So we don't have a brand. So why would people come and join us? So even if we give a competitive salary, people will not join us. The reasons were very weird. They would say that our marriage is fixed next month, so we want something, a company inside Technopark. So some kids were ready to join, but their parents were saying that it's not safe outside Technopark. So those kind of challenges we faced. Then we realized that we have to move into Technopark. So around 1.5 years after we started the company, we slowly moved into Technopark. And then we were able to get good talents, good people. But again, retaining these talents is again another challenge because there are so many companies in Technopark.
Yes.
So there's competition there. And like I said before, I was a bad people manager. So I realized that I will not be able to take this forward myself. So that is where and very important aspect happened. So, one of our very close friends, Mr. Matthew, so he joined our organization as a founder, as a co-founder, sorry. So, and then he took up the responsibility of people management and human resources and the operations.
Okay.
So I blindly gave everything to his hand, and he was doing a very great job. So I could say that that gave me a lot of relief.
So you're fortunate to have someone
Yes,
like me.
I'm extremely fortunate because if you don't have the right people in the management team, it's very difficult. You can't do everything alone.
Okay, right. So, and again, this is going to be a challenging activity building the brands. So, what are even now almost 10 years now?
Yeah.
So, what was your challenge over there, and how did you come out?
The main challenge, as you said, is people don't know us. People don't know
How
what
did
is
you solve
SEQATO.
that?
So what we did was we started, like building our social media, pages. So LinkedIn, Instagram, and we started posting contents. We started, interacting with people. So all those things helped boost our social media presence. So now I think we have a decent, like people know that SEQATO is a company in Technopark, which has, a good work culture, which encourages people to, spend time on work as well as life. So I think over the last couple of years, we have built that brand in the society level. So employees can find a good reference using the social media. But at the same time, this is just one part of the story. The other part is the clients also should know that there's a company called SEQATO.
Yes.
They have got good talented resources, so you should come to them. So that was the next part that we were targeting. Then we started building this, what do you call like a profile over Clutch, and getting the customer reviews, and then posting it over there, and such kind of marketing material for case studies, capability documents, etc. We started building and distributing. We started going to conferences. We started attending events and spreading the word that there's a company called SEQATO. So that is also slowly happening in the in the parallel.
Why this is name SEQATO?
SEQATO was a very coincidental name. So we actually spent over a month trying to find out a name for the company before we started. But unfortunately, all the good names were taken. And then even the websites were like all blocked. So we coined this term, one of our like friends coined this term. So it stands for software engineering, quality assurance, and technology operations. So everything under the software development lifecycle, we captured it into the name. So
Build
that is
that
how
name.
Yeah, that's how the name SEQATO comes.
Okay, right. So yes, I think last 4 or 5 years, I think you have been very active in the name of branding.
Right.
And see, I think the branding is actually starts from inside organization, and you just showcase it outside the world. So who is your branding manager there?
So Matthew takes care of all that. So he has a team of individuals inside the team itself, inside the company itself, who have a very good interest in making reels, making social media contents, and also this team, so they make sure that everything inside the company that should be spread to the world is marketed correctly.
Okay. So and so we have seen that some of the videos, your annual day celebrations, are done differently.
Right.
So I think the Matthew is behind all.
He's behind that. All the people management activity, he's behind that. I am very bad at all those kind of things. So team building and all, I think he takes care of it very well.
Okay, right. So what is your team size now?
So we are close to 93 people now.
Okay. And is the diversity from all over India, or is just
as of now? No, it's only from Kerala. So that is one thing that I want to change because I have been working in a diverse culture. So I know the benefits of having a diverse culture. But at this point of time, we were just trying to scale up and make the company stable. So that point has reached. Now what we are trying to do is we are trying to bring in diversity. We are trying to bring in different crowds. So probably we might start development center outside Kerala also, maybe the next year, some like Bangalore or Pune and all, and where we can try to get talents, and then we can have a mix of talents. Because having just one part of the community, it will not help the developers also. They need to learn from looking at the other culture as well.
And also it's important that you acquire a skill set as fast as you could. So you get into much more matured market like
Yes.
Bangalore or any
Correct.
cities in South. Okay. And this coming back to your SEQATO. So you're primarily focused on the cloud, or is it just
So right
services?
now, I would say last 2 years, so we are concentrating more on fintech and healthcare.
Okay.
So why these two is because we realized that just saying that we do everything is not a very good approach. So you need to be focused. So we need to ensure that our team is also focused, so that a particular domain we need to identify. So healthcare and fintech was what we identified because we had done.
Yeah, these
good
are
projects.
the regulated market.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
So you need a lot of security
lot of
awareness.
security and compliance and all those things. But I think after executing a couple of projects in these healthcare and fintech, we realized that we are capable of doing that. So that is why we concentrated more on that.
Okay. And so how do you upscale the people? And
That's a very interesting question, because everybody is comfortable, then it's difficult to push them to the next level. Correct, yeah. But then we know how the markets are changing. Today something is there, tomorrow that complete technology will be changed. So what we ensure is that all the developers, all the team members are keeping to the industry standards, because tomorrow if a new AI tool is coming, so they should be aware of that. So we make sure that these people have that exposure to the new technology and the new frameworks, etc. And we also make sure that they try to scale up to that level, because if you don't scale, then it's very difficult to survive in this industry. So we give them multiple chances, and then we say that okay, it's for your own benefit, you are doing this. So earlier it was very difficult for people to migrate from one technology to another. So from Java to Python, if we ask a developer to change, they'll say that I am comfortable in Java, why should I change and all. But now that mentality has changed. So people are very much actively upskilling themselves. That's what I found in our organization. People are taking this up seriously, maybe because they know what is the situation outside. If you lose a job, it's very difficult to get a job unless you are all-rounder.
Competitive enough.
Competitive.
Do you have any learning management system internally?
We don't have a tool for that, but we have a process. We have a set of training that the developers should do in order to get promoted.
So you have the progression plan.
We have that progressive plan, and then even during the appraisals, we make sure that the team knows what their skills are, what their capabilities are, how they should scale up, what their negatives are. So we communicate all that through a system.
Okay. Right.
Very difficult to keep on getting a good service project. So what we thought was that if you have a good product also in parallel, then we can sell the product, and then we can build a good user set also against that. A totally different game there. Yeah. So whatever works in orbit 1 will not work in the second orbit. So we have to put a system in place. So GITEX gave us the opportunity to understand what is happening in the world. So sitting at here and just looking at videos, we may not get that experience.
Now coming back to SEQATO.
Okay.
So and you said this was services initially.
Right.
But over the time, you might have learned there are some product concept, you should go for it. Okay. That's how most of the products coming from the real world experience. Do you have any such product built in-house?
So we have built a couple of products in the past 1 year.
Okay.
So 2 of them are for the fintech, and one is for the healthcare, and one is for proper AI only. Okay. So using AI, we had built a solution. So again, why we went into products is because like services projects are not predictable. So it's very difficult to keep on getting a good service project. So what we thought was that if you have a good product also in parallel, then we can sell the product, and then we can build a good user set also against that. So that's how we ventured into the product market. So the banking project that we have made is a cross-border payment solution. So this was actually built over the expertise that we gained. So we have actually partnered with a company in Europe, I should say Cyprus, and then we built a solution for them. So now we have a product in the healthcare also. So that is basically for the remote patient monitoring. Okay. So this is for the elderly care. So a lot of
the care homes.
Care homes, yeah. So it's again B2B as well as B2C. We can sell it.
So you check their vitals remotely.
We can check the vitals remotely, and then we use an AI model to understand if there is any anomalies there. Okay. and raise the alert at the right time. But again, this is what most of the companies are providing currently. But something that we built over this is there's also a human touch to this. For example, we have something to extract the sentiments of the elders. So what we do is we have a AI agent that will make a call to the elder, and then we'll talk with that person for, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes, and then just a casual discussion.
Okay,
and then they will
try to
understand
figure out the sentiment.
Yes, understand the sentiment. So if they are feeling sad, if they are feeling happy, and then inform it to the relative or the kin of the patient, and then they can take a appropriate action. So if, for example, if somebody is feeling lonely, then they can actually make the call and talk and see what's problem.
Okay. So this is in production now, or still?
This
in
is
development?
I would say 80 to 90% has been completed. So we are in the marketing of this thing, and we are completing the development, the production.
And you're planning to sell it across the world.
So mostly we are targeting Japan and UK customers because we know a couple of people over there, and so we are trying to see if we can bring it to the market, healthcare market over there.
Okay, all right. So you were in GITEX this year. So I think that was a different experience because that was full of AI concept and all.
Correct.
So what was your key takeaway from that event?
So GITEX gave us the opportunity to understand what is happening in the world. So sitting at here and just looking at videos, we may not get that experience. We might know that the world is building something, but we will not get a real face-to-face experience. But by going to GITEX, we saw what actually people are building, how the people are exposing the products, and then making sure that people understand what is AI, etc. So a lot of sessions were there. So we attended the sessions. A lot of other big companies had built stalls and then showcased their products. So we got a lot of exposure from that.
Okay. Also, you build a lot of connections.
We build a lot of networking connections, like a lot of companies as well as individuals. So we have got those connections. Yes.
Okay. So beyond this RPA, and do you have any other products in pipeline?
So we also have intelligent, like a document manager. So what we do is, so whatever document you can give this platform, then it will understand the documents and then build a knowledge base out of that. Then you can use this platform as a question answer kind of thing. This can be used in multiple use cases. For example, let's say if somebody is going to interview, so the job, you can feed the job description and the let's say the skills also. So for example, if you're going to take a Java interview, so then you can give the job description and material on Java. Then this platform will understand that and then frame the questions dynamically. And then you can use these questions. Anybody can use these questions to talk to the interview.
So it's basically an assessment platform.
And the beauty of this is, it will also record what the person is saying, and then it will change the questions dynamically. So it's not that static list of questions. It will dynamically change based on how the user is answering. For example, if the user is able to answer tough questions, so there's no point giving easy questions, right? So it will ask more tougher questions. So like that.
Okay.
So this can also be used in other use cases like healthcare also. For example, a doctor trying to understand the symptoms of a patient, right? So this is a very generic platform that we have built, but we can use it in multiple industries.
So since you are dealing with the regulated market like finance and healthcare, the security first is
very important.
That's a culture you need to build.
Correct.
So how is you build that, and because the community need to be aware of this.
Correct.
Because they are accountable for the actions.
Right. So we make sure that the team is given very good, information about what are the do's and don'ts in any scenario, and we make sure that all our infrastructure and network is safe and secure. And we also use the properties of the cloud also. For example, for encryption while on transit, etc. So all that is taken care by the infrastructure that we use, and we make sure that the leaders and the managers and the seniors are also aware of what are the consequences if something like a data breach happens. So till now, thank God, we have not faced any issue, but we have to make sure this is like an ongoing process. It's not that you learn today and then tomorrow we forget it. So we make sure that they are repeatedly given the training.
Okay. So you might be going through some kind of auditing in between, or?
Yeah, we do internal audits. So we are not gone for external audits as of now. But I think since we have the products in place, so maybe by in the coming year, we need to go for external audits also, like SOC 2, HIPAA compliance, etc. So we are planning to do that in the next year.
Okay. So you've been last 10 years. How many countries you have served so far?
So we have served like US, then we have served Australia, then Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand. Then in the Europe we have served I think UK, Germany, Switzerland. So it's like a big diverse countries we have solved.
Okay. And so the projects you're coming in, so you must be doing the process, some kind of development process. So I understand that it's mostly going to be agile.
Yes.
So what is your experience in agile development?
I think Agile is a very good methodology. The one major reason is because everybody gets a chance to speak. So earlier it was like, a business analyst in the waterfall models, a business analyst will try to understand the requirement and then prepare a requirement spec and give it to the developers. And they will just go through that and then start building the software. If they have any questions, they will raise it and then send it to the analyst, and then they will get the clarification, analyst or the manager. Okay. But now in Agile, what happens, or the Scrum, what happens is that everybody is supposed to do a Scrum call. So all of them are supposed to speak what they are doing, what challenges they are facing. So that gives them an opportunity to open up and speak out. So I think that from a resource level, that is training, giving them a training to be a better developer. But initially we had a lot of challenges because people will not speak up. They will just remain silent. Yeah. But I think things are changing now.
Okay. So, and because in Agile, every person is an individual contributor, irrespective of their experience.
Correct.
That is a cultural shock.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So people even the juniors, they have to speak, but then they were very much insecure because seniors are also speaking. So what will I say? How will my task, compare to the others? Task. So they had this apprehension, but slowly we made them understand what is the importance of this call, why we are doing this, and what is the benefit for them, and then they have got used to it now.
Okay, now you're seeing that it's improving.
We've seen a very good improvement in that. Yeah. Okay. I think almost all of our projects are being executed in the Agile model.
Okay, all right. So now 10 years plus. So you managed to make it 100 cut count. Now you are ready to go to the next phase. You have product lined up.
Right.
You already have experience in service industry. So what is your vision look like, and where you want to get from there? This point.
So like you said, right now we are in orbit 1. So to go to the orbit 2, it's a totally different game there.
Yeah.
So whatever works in orbit 1 will not work in the second orbit. So we have to put a system in place. So that is what I learned from my experience also. So orbit 1 is like, it's more like a founder-driven organization where the founder is actively involved in everything.
Yes.
But in the next level, what you need to do is you need to have a separate team for everything. So sales should be a separate team, finance should be a separate team, HR should be a separate team, and the founder's main job would be to strategize what should be the next, like you mentioned, set the vision correctly and ensure that the vision is spread across to the customers as well as to the employees.
Right.
So we are in that transition phase from stage 1 to stage 2, and it's a little bit of overwhelming, because we have got to learn and unlearn a lot of things.
You have to set up a lot of SOPs.
Correct.
And make sure that there is no dependency with one person.
And unlearning whatever you learned in the orbit 1 is the most challenging thing, because by default you will try to get involved. So that is the stage where we are right now.
Okay.
And talking about the mission, so we are very clear on our mission. So we want to make sure that the team that we have is a very strong, technical and skilled team, and we want to work as a family, and we want to give the best to the customers, and we want to make an impact to the customers.
Okay. So you are actually moving with your products other than service going forward.
So I would say service brings in a lot of money, because you'll get a bread and butter from service projects. At the same time, product is a long-term vision. So it's not that you can start making revenue from day one. So it will take some time. But an impact can be done only by a product, because if you're building a product for somebody, then you won't get anything out of it. No visibility, right? So, but if you're building your own products, there's a lot of visibility there.
Do you have any plan to have an overseas office?
Not for development, but maybe for marketing. So we already have an office in UAE and almost one in USA. So we want to expand our marketing to other offices as well.
Yeah, progressing towards a product and keeping the services.
Yeah.
And next phase, you're going to go maybe the exponential growth. That's something that's very much possible, because you have set up that platform already. And so you said your team is highly powerful group of people.
Correct.
You have, And that's why I see that is very much reflected in your social media pages. Because you said it's the people is doing, there's no team,
Right.
and you have built this over the time, and you might have understood that how these things are works, what things works and not.
What works, what doesn't.
Yeah, and so what is the key takeaway from this? You had this because you build this, and now you're going to next phase. So what is the key advice you're going to give to people who follow you? The same
So
path?
I think the main advice is, we will make mistakes. So you need to learn from the mistakes and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes again.
Repeat again.
That is the main thing, because nobody is perfect. Even you might hire a wrong person. So what do you do with that? So you need to take an action so that it doesn't get worse. So just make sure you learn from these kind of mistakes. That's the only takeaway. And again, I would say to all the fellow entrepreneurs, business is not easy. It's going to be a challenge. You should be prepared for that. You should have a very good support system, especially from your family. Otherwise, it's going to be truly challenging.
Yes.
And ups and downs will be there. So whenever you are down, you should have that energy to come up again. So if you have that, I think you can run on forever.
Okay. Right.